taking a second. That looks fun. Come on! Oh! Dang it!
Oh, we know this deal. I ran my battery down. I had to get the guy himself started testing these holes.
Welcome to day 7 of the Tour of Idaho. The route for today took us from North Fork to Lowell. We had done our study and knew that day 7 was long in miles, but should be an easier day as far as overall trail difficulty, because there were a lot of dirt road transfer miles to get you across the Magruder Corridor and onto the other side of the Frank Church and Selway Bitterroot Wilderness areas. The day also contains one of the longest gasless stretches of the tour at over 200 miles, depending on which route you end up taking. We were pumped and ready for the day. However, there are just a few things to remember. First, this is the Tour of Idaho, and illusions of smooth sailing can be smashed in a fraction of a second with any number of a million things that can go wrong. Second, at this point in the 2020 tour season, due to attrition of teams in front of us, we were now officially deeper into the tour than anybody else, so we had no intel on trail conditions in front of us, and there were a few sections of the day that just about bit us. Right out of the gate, we headed north up Indian Creek and instantly found ourselves in an overgrown creek bottom with little to no evidence of any tracks so far in the season. As the trail climbed and we passed over Bear Scat and climbed up through a burn area, we were grateful to find that some good trail stewards had cleared the trail all the way up Henderson Ridge to the intersection with the Divide Trail. Ride along to see how this easy route turned out to be yet another huge day that started in the dark and ended in the dark, and almost going to bed again without a meal. Okay, it is day 7. We're in North Fork. We are headed through Elk City and then to Lowell today. It's 210 miles from here to Elk City, and then about another 70 something, depending on exactly which route we take into Lowell. Today is long in miles, but we anticipate being easy riding because it's just a big road transfer section, because there's no other way to get all the way from here through the Frank Church wilderness, but that's okay. Yesterday was an incredible day, and then day 8's gonna be awesome. We are having an absolutely awesome time, but I've said it before, this is the real deal. It's long days and some ridiculously good riding, and that's why I came. Loving it, and we'll keep moving. Good? Radios? Off the highway from the Salmon River by Indianola. I think it's Indian Creek Road. 6:30 in the morning. What would it be on the day of the tour without wet feet?
I'm right there with you, brother.
Okay, I don't feel so bad then. Day 7. Nice, easy road ride to Elk City. Oh shoot, holy crap. Watch this turn up here. If you kind of hugged left, I almost went right in the creek. Looks like we crossed the creek again. So much for dry feet. So we just ran over some bear scat in the middle of the trail, just right back there. Sharing the trails with the bears. After climbing Henderson Ridge, we intersected with the Divide Trail, aptly named as it runs along the Continental Divide ridgeline between Idaho and Montana. We were very close to the incredibly fun Butcher Knife Ridge single track from the day before, but this time we turned southwest to follow the Divide Trail. It didn't take long for us to hit our first good scare of the day. Despite a significant amount of deadfall and burned forest, a lot of cutting had been done to this point, which provided a clear trail. However, just as we were descending the Divide Trail, we hit some significant sections of downfall. It would have literally taken all day to cut it out with our silky saws, so we got off the bikes, scouted a route around, and were excited to find that as soon as we got to the road, that the trail opened up again on the other side. We then enjoyed several more miles of incredible single track along the Divide Trail, looking into Montana on our right and Idaho on our left. It was not what I was expecting for day 7, but was a welcome treat. Eventually, the single track ended at Spring Creek Road, and we cruised up to our first challenge point of the day, Blue Nose Lookout.
Watching the sunrise as we ride a trail that I don't know if it's hardly been ridden this year at all, other than somebody, I don't know who it is, but I'm grateful for them to come in and cut a lot. But otherwise it's pretty sweet. I'm gonna grab my morning sunrise pic since okay, good. We'll just take the time to do both then. Overheating too.
Put some love in that trail.
Yeah, boy, that'd have been a momentum is your friend. I'm good, just picking up my yard sale. Could get interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody ran out of daylight and didn't make it back.
We're early in day 7. It's about 7:50 in the morning, and we are getting into an interesting situation with a bunch of deadfall. Look at that down there. Holy crap. We're early in day 7, and this is what we just came to. A big old game of pickup sticks. We're just taking a walkabout to see how we can get around it. Okay, we're attempting a little reroute here. Brent got off his bike, he walked it. There are hundreds of trees down over there. So we're just going around. The problem is there's still several miles of trail before we get to a road that we're supposed to take. And if this has not been cleared to this point, then there's really a chance road, but we don't take that road. That's the problem. The trail's supposed to continue across it, but we might have to call an audible here. Just taking a second, check this out. Right on the Idaho-Montana border. Yeah, awesome. Okay, we just came down the Divide Trail. The challenge section just is over there, Martin Spring. ride so much of this, it's really easy to get just, I don't know, complacent or just lulled into normalcy, as if somehow you do this every day. But sometimes I just have to stop. I'm like, okay, I'm riding my motorcycle. I'm on the 7th for a week straight. I still have 3 more days of this, and there is nobody around. You are in some seriously remote country, like really remote, and the trails are awesome, the scenery is amazing. Like, pinch me. Someday I'll be watching this wintertime, unable to ride or go outside, and just be dreaming of doing this right here. I live for this. It's so awesome. Headed up to the Blue Nose Lookout, almost there. Pretty sweet. Deja vu, huh? Cool little story. So we were just on the Divide Trail, so we were over there on that ridge riding some ridiculously good single track. Popped out on the road, look at our route, notice that our next challenge point is Blue Nose Lookout. This is Blue Nose Lookout, and Brent and I thought that sounds familiar. So then we realized it was exactly, well, almost exactly 4 years ago that he and I and Charles had been here. We were on our way back on the BDR. There was a layer of cloud, everything was covered in frost, and that was early September, which is only a month away. So jumped on our phone, my phone, logged into my online Gaia account, and found the photos that I had marked at this location. So we just took a photo today on the Tour of Idaho, and then we took and then we grabbed the photos from 4 years ago to match them up. Pretty dang sweet. Crazy that was 4 years ago, but we are just really enjoying ourselves. And why would you not when you look at this view? Again, 360 degrees of nothing but ridiculously beautiful mountains. So good times on the Tour of Idaho, day 7. We're going to continue on.
After enjoying the view atop Blue Nose Lookout, we followed a series of Forest Service roads, dropping elevation into Montana along the Bitterroot River Valley. Just before the Painted Rocks Reservoir, we climbed northwest through more Forest Service roads until we eventually connected to the Nez Perce Road and the entry point to the Magruder Corridor. A short stint of pavement on the Nez Perce Road took us to our second challenge point of the day, Nez Perce Pass. At that moment, we would be peering into the largest contiguous wilderness area in the lower 48 states that we would have to traverse to get to the remote community of Elk City. The Magruder Corridor is a legal motorized right-of-way that intersects the Frank Church River of No Return and Selway Bitterroot wilderness areas. Although the region itself is one of the most remote areas to be found in the lower 48, the corridor itself is quite popular with overlanders, adventure motorcyclists, and other recreationists, so it's imperative to keep an eye out on the road for oncoming traffic. About halfway through the Magruder, we stopped at our third challenge point of the day, Burnt Knob Lookout, with a beautiful view across the wilderness area and looking straight down into the Burnt Knob Lakes Basin. After Burnt Knob Lookout, we dropped back down to the Magruder and continued towards Elk City. It was about this time that we started to notice a change in the forest, and just a little more of a Pacific Northwest feel to the varieties of pines and undergrowth. Eventually, we peeled off the main corridor and picked up the start of ATV Trail 505, and on towards our next challenge point of the day, the Red River View Point. Maybe it was because we had just ridden 60 miles of dirt roads, and maybe it really was the quality of the trails, but as far as ATV trails go, the entire section of trails heading into Elk City were a real hoot. Alright, this is the 505 ATV trail right off of the Magruder.
How did you miss it? It's not like you were going fast or anything.
Alright, coming back. That was pretty awesome.
I don't know how you could have blown past a challenge point or anything. I mean, you were just taking in the scenery.
I know, had my eyes glued to my GPS and everything.
From the Red River View challenge point, it was on to our final stretch before getting into Elk City. Alpine single track is my holy grail, but I admit that the ATV trails going into Elk City were a lot of fun. Just be sure you've got your luggage secured tightly. It would be a total of 210 miles from where we started at Lowell in the morning to Elk City. We then had about that many more to get to the end of day 8, and no gas options other than Elk City in that 425-mile stretch. So it was critical that we top off and even take on a little extra gas as insurance. Elk City is exactly what you would expect for a leftover Idaho gold mining town from the 1860s, with a population just above 200 residents. It is a place that is a bit stuck in time, other than a few of the modern connectivity luxuries. Old pickup trucks outnumber the residents, and the Second Amendment is a way of life. And I just dare somebody to admit that they're from California while hanging out with the locals.
Dropping down into Elk City. Bit of a split up there. It looks like we just stay left on the main one. 2.5-ish gallons. And this is what, 3 gallons strapped to the back of your fender looks like, plus 4 gallons.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. We will. See you guys.
While we were in Elk City, we topped off with gas, stopped at the local market for some snacks and provisions, chatted with the locals, and even had them sign Brent's front fender as he had been doing throughout the tour. It was about 5 p.m. by the time we finished all this, but we had just over 70 miles to go and we figured we would be relaxing in our motel room sometime after 7, as we expected them to be easy road miles. We did the math and realized we probably ought to call into Lowell while we had service, just to confirm our reservation, and discuss meal options in the event we got in late. It was a stroke of genius on Brent's part to suggest this because once again, our illusions of easy cruising into Lowell were quickly shattered after we encountered a particularly challenging section of trail just a few miles outside of town. In our efforts to be very literal and diligent in connecting waypoints, we found ourselves routing through a small marshy bog to get from one waypoint to the other. Keep in mind, we were the very first team through at this point. There was literally no evidence of any other tracks. Tall grass with a marshy bottom, with wet and slimy hidden logs scattered everywhere. We expended way too much time and energy to go half a mile, but we were too stubborn and stupid to turn around and admit that we didn't connect a waypoint. In hindsight, it would have been an easy skip, and we may not have even been dinged, as there is a maze of roads and ATV trails coming and going from Elk City. But we made it, and continued on to our final challenge point of the day, Henderson Butte, just before the sun was setting.
You okay? Too, but this goes up to another waypoint that connects to another road, so.
Alright. That twisted son of a gun.
Okay, well. Whoa!
I see a log cut right up here.
Alright, we'll just see if we can pick our way up this gully. Either that or the other thing I'm looking at the map is if we went down there up that other trail, is there a way that we can connect the waypoints?
He's got one dropped.
All right, copy that. I'll come up where you are. Logs everywhere here, and they're wet and slimy. Out once and tipped over twice. I gotta take this jacket off. The games begin. Mossy logs.
I don't know. I don't know which way it goes out. There's nothing obvious.
Did you see on the map how this is a mark? This is 509, and it goes up to the road up there, somewhere right up here. Is it just as steep right here on this hillside?
No, it mellows out. There's a draw right there that we could if the road's right there.
Back. Oh man, what a cluster. That's good news. Oh my gosh. Shoot. trail as well. Looks like you're on it. That looks fun.
Well, this is attempt number 2. The first one was,
Oh man.
I'm hoping it just shoots out, but
It should shoot up there to the top too. You need help? Scott Summers it. Just grab it. Here, let me help. I mean, 40 pounds of gas on the back should help, right? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I don't see where anybody's come through.
No. Come on! Oh! Dang it! I was so close!
Right there.
Oh, I was so close. 2, 3.
All right, we know this drill.
Go ahead. All that just to go from there to this road. Holy freak.
Oh, I gotta cool off. I am dying. It's gonna roof.
Yeah.
That sucked just a little bit.
Boundary trail.
After our little fiasco coming out of Elk City, any thoughts of a relaxing evening in Lowell had been dashed. We made it to Anderson Butte Challenge Point, snapped a pic, and then put our heads down for the next 50 miles. We were aware of a road closure on Forest Service Road 443 that would require us to take a longer route down to the Selway River. We made it to that junction just as it was getting dark. The compounding effects of 7 long days of riding were starting to take their toll. Riding in the dark and sleep deprived, I literally found myself falling asleep on my motorcycle as we wound through the dark forest dirt roads. Fortunately, by the time we hit pavement at the bottom along the Selway River, I was more alert and even alarmed because Brent and I had become separated. I wandered into the wrong campground at 10 o'clock at night, mountain time, and then eventually found Brent, who had apparently been drawing too much power off his bike, drained his battery, and was stranded on the side of the road. Fortunately, he found a guy in a golf cart at the campground to pull him down the highway to get him going again. We rolled up to our motel room to find a nice sticky note on the door welcoming us as Tour of Idaho riders, and due to Brent's foresight in Elk City of calling the Wilderness Inn, we found a nice packaged roast beef sandwich meal in our rooms. We didn't even take the time to get out of our gear. We devoured the meal, laughing at ourselves, the day's antics, and amazed at yet another long day on the Tour of Idaho.
It's the end of day 7. Started off the day single track. Went to right or left at the bridge? Right. Right? Are you here?
I ran my battery down. Had to get the guy at the golf cart to take me to the pole. Gotta go on the highway and down a little bit.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, I was just pulling switch juice.
Oh, we go across the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's